What you are looking at is more, much more than it appears. To your eyes, perhaps, it's just a weirdly colored orange envelope addressed to me from Dice Latte in Seoul, sent to me here in Daejeon. But it's more. Yes, it's folded. It had some, adventures in the mail, perhaps. Yes, it's a fantastic looking envelope, but it's a Kickstarter reward. It's much earlier than anybody else's because it's coming from where it was produced to me in the same country it was produced. So it's like the reverse of a normal situation. And you're looking back in time. This is not me opening the package now. This is me opening the package several weeks ago. Because this particular delivery came in two parts. First part was the books, which were produced in one area, and the second part was a deck of cards, or a multi-purpose deck of cards. So let's take a look at the book first. The book is Operators. It's another release by Samjoko Publishing. These guys have been very, very busy the last few years, and Operators is one more example. As you can see from the spine, it's covering that kind of Jason Bourne type of film or genre, the very, very, very capable protagonist. And after reading through and doing some playtests, I can confirm that what you're playing are extremely capable operators, and your challenge as players and game masters will be to bring that together into an exciting play experience. When we talk about collaboration in roleplay, we often simply talk about coming together to help each other more fully imagine a scene. Well, Operators is asking you to take that a step further and collaborate on how to situate and accentuate and challenge these, what else can you call them? Operators, these top-level spies and people behind the scenes who get things done that perhaps we wouldn't normally talk about. Now, of course, if we're also considering following along in the tradition of cinematic play, as you can see from the art as I go through each page, if we're also talking about that, then, and this is a quick look at the cards, then we're also talking about how to portray what things look like and follow along in a particular way that builds through incredible explosions, improbable chases, fantastic locations, and brutal and effective martial arts. And that's where the cards and the dice come in. The card deck focuses on fight moves and chases. I think it's a pretty clever idea, and one thing I particularly also like about the deck is that it's not necessarily tied only to Operators. This is something you can take with you and apply to other games. And if you're looking at the dice notations there, you'll be seeing that these are fudge dice, right? So there's 6-sided dice, 2 blanks, 2 minuses, 2 pluses. You'd be rolling them in combination. Now, normally what you're looking at is that pluses and minuses cancel. But here it's more of a case of assigning where pluses and minuses go when you're dealing with resolving issues. So, Operators. Action, spy, military, techno-thriller, RPG from Samjoko Publishing. To briefly focus on the book itself for a moment, it's quite heavy, especially given its page count. It just barely pushes past 200 pages. That includes the index, but these pages are thick and glossy, similar to reading a magazine in terms of how they react to the light. So it's quite easy to read, quite easy on the eyes. And the layout throughout is very clear, both in text, in design, and with the type and number of examples. Now, this is now. These cards arrived today in this package. The cards were done in the States. The books were done here in Korea. And so, these packages are passing each other in international post. Just a simple envelope, and I can just tear into it. So let's do that now. All right. So we've got bubble wrap inside to protect the cards, or card box. Looks like a card box. All right. And we'll just find the end of the bubble wrap. And there it is. So we can see that on one end it says fight, and I'll show you the other end here in a minute. Operators. So we've got fight and we have chase. So both decks inside. One side of the box says fight, the other side of the box says chase. And this isn't the best environment for me to show the cards. Apparently it's not even the best environment for me to get the cards out of the box without ripping it. I'm going to try the other end. There we go. Okay. The cards are loose inside, and they kind of stick together a little bit. They're quite heavy, very glossy. Let's see if I can get this into focus. There we go. So you get a very quick graphical representation of what's going on, plus you have text to fully clarify. Right? So blend in and uppercut, choke, that kind of stuff. And let's move to a better location. Okay, before we actually look at the cards, let's take another deep look in the book. So here's an example of the core mechanic page. You see down this side of the page it says Director and explains the core mechanic from the director's point of view. The opposite page is the player page and does the exact same thing, but from the player point of view. And all we're looking at is rolling 4 dice, looking for pluses, and we want to meet or exceed our skill level in whatever it is that we're doing. And a lower number for a skill is better, right? So you can get more pluses to do even better. Each part of the book is visually represented, verbally represented, so that it's much easier to remember which part of the book you saw the thing. So let's get down to business. This is the beginning of a simple chase, and it's going to start with the laying out of 4 chase cards. So you can see the dice are represented. You can see it's all numerically represented with numbers, with the characters' names, and what everybody actually does. What I really like about this example is the specific art on the specific cards is specifically referenced for this specific example. So there's really no cognitive dissonance left for the reader. You flow through, and you're able to see exactly what's supposed to happen, right? Putting or assigning the 4 dice to the 4 cards and figuring out exactly how this particular scene or this part of this scene is going to play out, where the challenges were met, where they were overcome, and overall, are we narrating towards success, towards setback, or toward failure. So there are fewer chase cards than there are fight cards, as you can see. Unless things have changed from plans through production, it's a 52 card deck, and 33 of the cards are dedicated toward fight, which I think is a good choice. As you can see, the cards are glossy, they're very slick, and when you first get them, you do have to separate many of them. All right. The chase cards are all focused on chase. They are designed like this, and they are in red, a nice high action red with a very clear white figure or multiple white figures on them. All right, so very easy to use. The fight cards are also divided by color. There's red, gold, blue, green, and purple, and this matches up with attacks, throws, submissions, locks, and destructions, like joint destructions and that sort of thing. So the chase cards, all one color. Fight cards, multiple colors for multiple purposes if you like, especially if you're planning on applying this to other games. So it helps in operators in getting a sense of what this move is actually all about in terms of creating your narration and gauging the stakes, but in other games you might apply them to. There might be specific rules about what you can do when and where. So this, I think, is a nice, very nice feature to put in right from the beginning. So here's an overview of all the cards, right? Not in the same order that I described them, but so you can see our gold or yellow, purple, blue, green, and red, and then chase cards. And there's a significantly larger number of attack cards than the other cards by far. These are all the other cards in this heaping pile at the bottom of the page. That's all fight. So, attacking, offense is the better part of defense, I suppose. At any rate, this brings this video unpackaging of Operators, the latest RPG from Samjoko Publishing, to an end. I hope you've enjoyed the overview. Each time I feel like I get a new game from Samjoko, I really feel like these guys are trying to push their limits, learn something new, do something new. And they knock it out of the park, whether it's repurposing a deck of cards or giving us a new way to use something as simple as fudge dice. Anyway, until next time.